Check, check, check. Mic check. Looks like we are good to go. Let's roll, everyone. Good morning. Let's head over to the charts. And I got a pretty interesting. I posted some of the levels we were looking at yesterday, and we're going to take a look at how things have transpired this morning so far. So, 8:30 a.m. unemployment rate, 10 a.m. ISM services PMI, and then we got a Fed speaker at 1:30. So watch out for those. We're gonna hop straight into the charts here and take a look. All right, so yesterday we were aiming for a 4-hour area of liquidity, and we are well on our way down to that area of liquidity. So far, London has kind of rocked Asia. Once we had Asia drop down, I think that was kind of key. So let's go grab our Asia box and apply it to the Asian range here. Give me a moment here. I want to make sure I get this applied to the right segment. Okay. And this side, Asia's low around here. So now I can see Asia's low, London pretty much traded up to a breaker and dropped from there. So right now we see that we continued a rise back up. You can kind of see buy side has not been taken. It's been I would watch this London level particularly closely, especially as we hit non-farm employment. I think it'll be important. So we'll keep that on our plates as a buy side liquidity. What's that high there? That high is 16438.50. So we'll keep that London high in mind, although these relative equal highs up here at Asia's high, that is also something that I'm very closely monitoring here. I think non-farm payroll could certainly take that out. It is Friday after all. The week has been a big weekly candle downwards, but I'm not convinced that I'm not quite convinced that it's done moving downwards just yet. I would prefer seeing it head down to 16,249.75, around that area, but it doesn't have to. I think it could reach down to 16,329. Yeah, 16,329 is the next level that .75. That's the next level that we were discussing. If you missed it, let's see if I can pull up. If you go to community, you'll be able to see the posts. Yesterday we outlined what happened throughout the day. 16,396 sell side liquidity was something that I was looking at, and then the 4-hour order block there. So if you look on the 4-hour, you can kind of clearly see, okay, so this is the 16,396 level that hit. So there's a fair value gap right here and a 4-hour bullish order block here. And I think that we can head down to that level still today. Note that the order block there ends this original consolidation. And I think that that's where we can stop. Um, or at least that's the target that I'm still looking for to the downside. So keep that in mind. Where we're at right now, I still think that we have some downside to go. As we continue to see our sell side be attacked. Let's see. What is that level here? Let me try and better parse that out. Four-hour chart here. Four-hour BISI high is 16,334. And then the 4-hour BISI low is 16,301.25. 16,334. Actually, this is on the hourly as well. Okay. All right. Nothing really happening right now. Kind of in a holding pattern. Let's see. See if there's anything happening here. Nothing much. It's just kind of holding. Still unable to break higher highs yet. It's all waiting in anticipation of our non-farm payroll coming up soon. Three. All right. Yeah, nothing really to do until 8:30 a.m. I'm gonna leave to go make some breakfast for the wife in a little bit. Um, but yeah, I don't really see. I just see us kind of consolidating for the time being. I doubt there's gonna be some like major moves. Maybe I do see some relative equal highs up here. So that could be something that we target. Uh, it does kind of look like we're creeping up there for the time being. I'm trying to see if there's any input surrounding what we hit here. I don't see anything particular, except for maybe a 4-hour candle close low. See if there's anything else that we could see us. So there's a 4-hour bearish order block as well. That's low, sits within the Asia range. That could be a potential target. See. Like we're still creeping up. So I wonder if it creates a nice little range here. We saw low, high, lower, low, but we haven't seen displacement up to the upside just yet. We probably will, but I haven't seen it yet. We just saw a buy. We just saw this buy side liquidity get purged there. Question is does price want to keep rising up to those relative equal highs? So far, it seems that way. It looks like the current state of this model is I don't see, at least on a lower time frame, I haven't seen it drop down below, make some lower lows yet. So I think it's gonna, I mean, it just did take out that liquidity. So and it's had trouble earlier, so I'm wondering if it will do the same there. Keep on creeping up. Let's see, that's what, 16404. So that 4-hour BISI is what we're targeting today. And then what happens after that is anyone's guess. But we have liquidity. We have this original consolidation here that I would expect us within this area. I would expect us to seek liquidity outstanding. So there's liquidity down here, PD array, a little bit lower, but as you can kind of see, these bullish order blocks have been respected on the way up. So it's possible that it heads lower down below these, this consolidation area, or we treat that as an area to look for to retrace up into this SIBI in the coming week. So you can kind of see how buy side just got purged there on the 1 minute time frame. I have 16,395.25. Sell side waiting right below here. Buy side keeps getting taken here. So I think there's a possibility it goes for those relative equal highs up here. But let's see. We haven't seen true displacement back to the downside just yet. But we also have not achieved the downside objective that I was looking for yet either. So we did reach a daily fair value gap. So that's one thing that I'm considering right now. So we reached a daily fair value gap. And so I'm thinking maybe it's already gotten down. We're keeping a close eye on how price reacts at this previous day's sell side liquidity. That 16,396 sell side liquidity is really holding this right now. If it trades above that, I think it's going to head for this relative equal high that we outlined a little bit earlier on that 1 minute time frame. Hey, good morning, Samuel. How do you get the same workspace as mine? Well, you can create a bunch of windows and duplicate them. If you're using NinjaTrader and Rhythmic, you can take one window and duplicate it across your screen. And then you can create the exact same setup that I have here. There's a lot of indicators that you can find free. I just use horizontal lines pretty much. And I think you were the one that asked about the sessions indicators, but I honestly don't remember where I got that. I've had it for so long that I don't remember where I got that from, unfortunately. I'll go take a look and see if I can find it though after. So let me drag some of this sell side liquidity here. Let's see, that's only on the lower time frame. Let's put this on all charts. We want to see if it can make a lower low. Right now it's been making higher highs and continuing to do so. It took over this short-term high, but we haven't seen displacement yet. So if we start to see this displace up higher, it's likely going to run for this here. Hey, good morning, Kirk. Let's see hourly chart here. You can kind of see on the hourly chart that there's also a fair value gap remaining within that 4-hour buy side imbalance as well. So I think that we're not done heading lower, but I do think that we can potentially head up to that relative equal high there, right up here. That's a very good possibility. Or at least it seems that way. It seems like it wants to head up to that relative equal high before heading lower. So we have taken out a 5-minute short-term high here. So it's very possible that it continues. We need to see how price reacts around this level. So far, bullish order blocks have been held constant. They've been supported on the way up here on the 1-minute time frame. And so far, it's been holding up. I need to go to make some breakfast for the lady. But I will be back in a little bit. Okay, so be right back. All right, we are back, and it looks like we rose up. We almost took out those relative equal highs, but alas, we could not get there. So I think with this move here, I think there's a high likelihood that we head up to that volume imbalance here and then head lower. At least that's what I'd like to see, rather. All right, that's interesting. So we now see a market structure shift on the low end here. We see an inversion fair value gap up here as well. If it decides to come back up here, that's what I would expect. I don't know if we'll get that opportunity, but let's see. Okay, so the interesting gap down there. What time is it? About 18 o'clock. Let me see if something is wrong with let me see if that gap down was there or not. No, something's wrong with my data. What is going on here? Let me try disconnecting and reconnecting. Something was wrong with the rhythmic data there. I hope this gets resolved before this runs. I hate having a position on and not being able to see it properly load data. This is so annoying. So this is an example of rhythmic kind of like just messing up and really jacking me up here because I can't tell what's going on, and that bothers me. All these charts are taking so long to load here. I can watch it on TradingView, but that's about it. Okay, good. See a little bit of a retrace here. Into a bearish order block. So we're seeing this bearish order block. If this can hold, great. That's what we want to see. I don't need this anymore. We're now looking for this bearish order block here. See if we hold here and head to the next area of liquidity, which is down here. That's what we want to see hold. You see what time it is, 7:55. So still some time before our economic event at 8:30 a.m. So we're going to continue to watch this. So we want to see this kind of treated like this range here treated and respected. It can head up to this area here, but not necessary for it to. We did come back down into this area here. It's one thing I'm keeping in mind. Came down into this buy side imbalance. So if we break above this bearish order block, then there's a good chance it's going to take out this high as well as these relative equal highs up here. So we need to watch this one closely. Hey, good morning, Bentahar. How are you doing? Again, we're watching this bearish order block closely. See how price reacts here. If it busts above here, then chances are it's going to head higher. Note the relative equal highs which formed over here. And of course the relative equal highs which exist right above it. So right now there's a liquidity pool formed up there. Buy side has not been taken yet. I think it likely will spike up and take out a lot of resting liquidity if we don't go lower, right where we're at right now. Week's been short. Do you think it's going to reverse today? So I think that we have a 4-hour target down here we haven't hit yet. I think that we will likely spike up. If we spike up first and take out all of this resting liquidity in London, I think that that's more likely that we spike up first and then head down, take out this area of liquidity. And then, of course, towards the end of the week, I think that it's going to be in this little consolidation area. So I don't think it's going to do much around that space. It's hard to tell if we'll reverse, but I'm definitely still looking for it to take the sell side objective still first. So that's what I'm looking for today. And I think it can consolidate until 8:30 a.m. It's very possible that it can just consolidate in this range here. I think that if you are positioned anywhere within this dealing range, you have to be careful. Your stops are likely to get taken if you're positioned anywhere in this dealing range. So I'm going to look at this 15-minute rejection block. That'll be of interest. And then same with this downside objective, that still remains true. So that 4-hour BISI over here, I'm still thinking that we aim for that today. I will be watching the 8:30 a.m. news on a lower time frame, and I will be looking for these key levels here. See this rejection block here. Let's see, you were aiming for it to reach 17,500. Wow. That is quite a move to 17,500. I think considering the fact that seasonally January is bearish, I think what will end up happening is that we will end up getting a weekly retracement next week back up into this breaker here. So this bearish breaker on the daily, I think we'll get a retracement up into here, and then we'll start heading lower for a quarterly shift. You can still see there's a bunch of sells happening right this moment. So as you can see, that order block was respected on the 5-minute chart. So aim for the next area of liquidity is my next aim. Let's see if it's respecting this as well. If this buy side imbalance gets respected here. I think it's going to head towards this area of liquidity next. I think it should take this out. I'll take off the majority of my position there. All right, so I took off the majority of my position. I have one runner. I took that short down to here, and I think that while there's still room, we're getting closer and closer to 8:30 a.m. and so we're in a position where we're running out of time for things to run. So what you want to look for, all right, so you see these relative equal highs here resting, right? You see this and you see this. So this is a rejection block here. So these are all buy side liquidity that are, and you see this one up here as well. That's a pretty obvious one as well. So all of these can be taken out by one big fell swoop. Let's see, there's a huge liquidity resting above 17,500. Yes, there is, but it doesn't have to get up there. You have to keep that in mind, right? It doesn't have to get up there, especially considering that January is typically a bearish month. I think that we've hit our weekly imbalance that we were aiming for. So those orange lines up there, we've hit that and gotten up to a monthly bearish order block, and we've dropped from there. So considering the fact that January has a tendency to be bearish, and we are seeing the formation of a breaker form, I am very, very keen to start to see sell side for the next few months. I think that we've hit our quarterly shift. I do need a little bit more on the weekly for me to show that, though. I would like for us to get below this short-term low here of 15,932 before I confirm on the higher time frames that we've shifted, but the daily looks pretty promising there. Let's see. I'm actually going to close out of my position here. So locked in about $122 of profit. That was a pretty good trade. I'm gonna wait to see what does 8:30 a.m. non-farm payroll do. One thing to keep in mind, on the way up, we have this huge liquidity void on the real-time hours, and yesterday's liquidity void, it got filled and then we sold off. That was right at the beginning of the day. Let me see if I can find it here. So yesterday, beginning of the day, we traded up. Real-time hour chart, we closed in this real-time hour gap and then some. Traded up to a fair value gap here. Bearish breaker, right? So we had marked that yesterday. That breaker here. It traded up to that bearish breaker and then broke back down. So where will we end up today? So this was a previous run where we've only traded up to about midway point here, where we closed and then we opened. So there's this remaining real-time hour gap. There's this remaining real-time hour gap. And where we are starting today, so we closed yesterday around here. So you can see that. Let me go over here so we can see the 15-minute chart. This is a real-time hour chart here. And so where are we going to open? We're going to open much lower. We're going to open lower than we are at currently, or from yesterday's low. So there will be a gap to the upside to fill if real-time hour charts, fill that. But we need to see what happens first at 8:30 a.m. I would recommend against being in a position right this moment. Wait to see what 8:30 a.m. gaps form. Wait to see if it takes out this area of liquidity on the downside first, or if it decides to take out these upside liquidity. I would prefer it at 8:30 a.m. to come up and take out this liquidity, potentially this liquidity, and this liquidity up here. I would prefer it to take that out so that we have a clear shot towards this 4-hour buy side imbalance, coupled with old new week opening gap, coupled with a bullish order block there. So, and that's where if it's going to shift and give us a market structure shift, a temporary shift back to the upside, that's where I would look for one. So Bentahar, I don't think necessarily. I mean, we could see a blow off top. It's very possible we could see all-time highs. I could see market makers, blowing that and then shorting everyone to oblivion afterwards in January. I could definitely see that potentially happening. I'm not gonna wait for it. I won't expect it to happen, but I will look for this daily breaker to form. So this is a really interesting breaker. It hit a really key level, that monthly order block, and it failed from there. So typically, I would expect to see us trade up and then reject from there. But that being said, one thing to note is on the weekly. So on the weekly, you see other tendencies in the past where you have a high, low, higher high, and then a breakdown, lower low, and you see a clear shift in market structure on the weekly. It's clear as day that we moved below this short-term low and this short-term low, displaced below it, right? Which then put into motion for the next month, movement lower and lower and lower until we displaced this in November. Until we displaced this in, this is the beginning of the year. And that we saw market structure shift higher, higher, higher. So I'm cognizant right now that we haven't seen that same thing yet. We haven't seen a displacement below a short-term low on the weekly chart. So I definitely could see room for us to bounce, but we're running out of time as well. The time factor that remains for this month, we only have maybe one more week or 2 more weeks until that we could head higher before we head lower for the rest of January. So keep that in mind. We certainly can and likely will see a retracement back higher. How high, we don't know. But there is definitely liquidity there. Whether or not market makers want to let people get to that liquidity is another question. So 812 looks like it was a good thing I got out of my short because things have retraced quite a bit. We will look to see. So all those areas of liquidity I'll be watching on the lower time frame to see what kind of things form. If it goes south first, if it goes lower first, I anticipate it will make a quick run for this area of liquidity here. And that's at 16,301 to 16,334 mark. If it hits that, if it goes south first and hits that, I'm forced to wait, because on the monthly, that high of 16,294, like around that 16,300 level, there's a monthly bullish order block. So if you go to your monthly chart, you'll see that clear as day. Those 3 down closed candles consist of one giant monthly order block. So while we do have a monthly buy side imbalance below us, I'm keen to see where we decide to go. I think we will head lower, and if we head lower, there's a chance that we just blow through that 4-hour mark and head lower even further from there. Hey, what's up, Antonio? Good to see you. Hope you get some good trades today. What's my progress on accounts? I have 4 performance accounts still live. There's a few that have, I think there's one that's like at about 1,000. A couple are in drawdown. Ones that may be like plus $100. So really, and I haven't really been able to trade. Oh wow, look at that jump up. So this is kind of telling to me. This is really interesting to me because I want to see. Let me see on the hourly real quick. So hourly, this high here is an hourly short-term high, coupled with a bearish order block here, coupled with Asia's range here as well. Actually, one thing I want to do is also move. Oh, let me move this. What are you doing here? Come on, let me choose this line. All right, I'm trying to move my midnight open. Okay, midnight open was 16,443. Okay, cool. So I've got my midnight opening here. And notice how it almost traded up to that relative equal high there and then just stopped short. So I have a feeling that we're going to run for the buy side first. And then once we do that, we'll head back down towards this short-term low here. How about you, Bentahar? How are you doing? Are you doing okay with your accounts? Are you trading demo? Are you trading evaluation accounts? Are you trading performance accounts? So yeah, that short-term high, this is the key one that I want to look at. I want to see if it reaches up here. Okay, so we just took out this buy side liquidity and that buy side liquidity, okay? So we don't have to refer to this anymore. It's so close, but we did take these out, which makes me believe we're going to aim higher for the 8:30 a.m. news and then trade lower afterwards. There is a bearish order block we're in right now too on the hourly. Watch the midpoint of that wick too, roughly where this line is. Watch us take barely this. I think this is a 15-minute. Yeah, there's a 15-minute rejection block here. I got into live sim account, made 2 bad trades on -3K. Oh man, yeah, be careful. Yep, good call. Go back to your higher time frame charts. Whenever I take a loss, I go back to my higher time frame charts and I determine, hey, was I in line with what truly was the draw? Price, and keep in mind, price doesn't always have to head to liquidity. If it hits a PD array and it's trying to go lower, it's going to head to from PD array to liquidity. So think like from fair value gap. If market is tending to go short, it's going to go up to a PD array. Could be a rejection block. Could be a fair value gap combined with that rejection block. It could be a bear order block. And then it's going to head down. And if you take a look at this, short-term lows, these were all taken out, but short-term highs were not, right? So when you see this type of movement, generally you're going to see price not take out short-term highs, and you're going to see price continue to aim for short-term lows until we hit a 4-hour or above PD array or area of liquidity. So you'll kind of note that price is not taking out buy side liquidity, but it is taking out sell side liquidity. So that's what you aim for. You aim for external liquidity on the sell side, and you aim for internal range liquidity, meaning PD arrays. So your fair value gaps, your rejection blocks, your oh wow, this is quite a move here. Bad moves happen. We'll lower TPs unless, yes, yeah, absolutely. Equal highs at 16,587. What's up, JP? Good to see you. You have equal highs at 16,587. 587 is really far up there. I think that we won't aim for that yet. I think we will next week, but I don't know if we're going to aim for that today. I think we are still going to respect this bearish order block on the 4-hour that coincides with the Asia range. Look to see if price reaches the midnight open, that cyan line there. I imagine we take this area of liquidity, head up, and I'll look for shorts then. Since that is my bias. Now, we have gone down all week, so there's no guarantee. There's no need for it to head lower. There's no need for it to head to that 4-hour imbalance that I'm noting, but I believe we will head down there to take that out if we trade higher for our 8:30 a.m. news. Yes, there is news. There's non-farm payroll and unemployment comes out at 8:30 a.m. So in about 10 minutes, we're going to see a huge spike. It's going to take out both directions. So I don't want it to trade lower first. I'm not ready for it to reverse yet. So I'd prefer it takes up the buy side liquidity here, preferably this 15-minute rejection block here. I would prefer it to stay there, but I will allow it to head up to Asia's range and to take out London's high of London's buy side liquidity. I don't think it's going to, but I think we're going to stop short of that, but let's see. I'll be watching this on a very low time frame and watching how price reacts at that time. So I am still a bear. And note the new week opening gap as well. We've traded up. The expansion has happened on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, right? Now we're on Friday. We hit a key sell side liquidity area already, and we're bouncing up from there, but I do see a better area of terminus, meaning this original consolidation I see as a better form of terminus, but it doesn't have to get down there. So that's just the trade that I'm looking at. You might be looking at a reversal, and if we do see that reversal, I would look for a movement and a hold above this short-term high. If we see it strike above here, that would constitute an hourly shift in market structure, but we have to get above some of these other areas too. There's a lot of bearish order blocks here for us to make it through. So we'll keep that high time frame. Looking to see if price takes 16,334. $16,334. Yeah, the top would be, it would be nice to take that out first, but I mean, you know, it doesn't have to. It's a Friday after a really big range week. I mean, you look at the weekly candle, it's one big black weekly candle, right? The high here on this this weekly buy side imbalance, it ends at 16,329. So given this range here, I do think, you know, non-farm payroll is gonna, it has a sizable range typically. Let me see if I can take a look at some previous non-farm payrolls if I collected that data. Where are my big news days? CPI. Looking back at some of my data to see if I so let's see. Okay, so I only have data on E-mini, but that should translate over to 12, 24, 36, 48. So like a 50 handle move. So a 16. So I do think that it's going to spike up above this 16,440. And if so, I will look to take short. I have my, and if it doesn't, and if it heads higher and stops me out, I can still look for a displacement lower when it hits that key level to take us all the way down to this resting area of liquidity down here at 16,367. So 5 minutes. Stock trader, good morning. Good morning. So you know my bias. I haven't changed this weekly draw on liquidity so I guess I should say it's a daily. I've been changing it each day after we've hit the draws, so that it's easier for us viewers, for any viewers on this channel. I've been changing that since we hit the targets. I've been updating that appropriately, and we've hit every single target so far this week. All right, so now what we have built up here is a miniature shift in structure here. So let's see. Again, if I see non-farm payroll go down first, I won't do anything until we reach this high here. And then I will consider taking this down to these relative equal lows down here. And of course, sell side liquidity further down here. But anything above this cyan line, I will take short. If the play sets it up. If the play sets it up for us, of course. 16,476 is what you're aiming for. Interesting. Okay. So you're thinking it's going to head up into roughly above these relative equal highs. Above, you think it's going to go back above Asia range. Okay. Okay, that's fair. I think we head lower before we head higher. So we'll see. It doesn't have to go lower though. I concede that. It doesn't have to go lower. We've hit many sell side liquidity targets this week, but I think it will go lower. I would like to see it go higher first, take out this rejection block or this consequent encroachment of the wick here, or buy side liquidity up here. However, we haven't been taking out buy side liquidity yet. We're close to taking this one out. We just took this one out. We just took this one out. On the hourly, we have to make it above this one before we can consider it to be a market structure shift. For those reasons, if we see weakness anywhere in this range here, if we take out this rejection block, that's what I'll be looking for. In fact, I'm going to remove this here so I can focus in on just that rejection block there. That's the one I care about. All right, so a few more seconds here. About 1 minute and a half, 1 minute and 25 seconds remaining. So be careful. If you're in positions, I would not recommend you be in positions this late. You will get stopped out unless your stop is at least 40 or 80 points. Okay, so initial Judas swing is what I'm seeing here. It's headed down, headed to that mitigation block. About 58 seconds remaining. Again, we're looking for that rejection block that I outlined earlier for a short, down to 16,365. About 44 seconds remaining. If it goes down first, I will not take a trade. I will wait to see what forms. Like, I mean, like way far down. If it takes out like sell side liquidity first, I'll wait if that happens. Okay, about 20 seconds remaining. We might see sell side, like you might see a spike down to take this out and then head upwards and then downwards. But either way, we know what we're looking for. 10 seconds. Okay, there's this spike downwards. Okay, so we took out sell side liquidity there. That's not what I wanted to see. Now we've taken out buy side liquidity as well. And my goodness, that took out the whole range. That's the range that I was looking for. I should have kept my sell side order right there. I should have. I was mentioning that, right? So see, that rejection block is exactly what I was looking for and hoping for. Now it's too late to really enter short, even though I think it's gonna head short. So watch that buy side imbalance that I mentioned earlier, that 4-hour buy side imbalance. It should head down there shortly, and we should see some big candles down to it. And give me a reach. Give me a reach. Give me a reach around. Come on, give me a reach down there. Come on. Big candles. There we go. Second trade of the day. Scalp that down. $172. I will take that. And look at what price does it stop at exactly. What's that low? What's that low? 16,334.25. What do we have that buy side imbalance at? That 4-hour buy side imbalance. What did I say? 16,334. Exactly. So, you kind of see how exact. I mean, you can't get more precise than that, right? 16,334.25. That's it for me. Have a great Happy New Year. Have a great Friday, JP. I'm pretty much done trading for the day too. I wish I set my limit order up here, but I was too much of a wuss. But how was that? Did you like that price action read there? I hope you did. I hope that you took that. Take it as you will, but basically we did exactly what I thought price would do, and we headed towards terminus. So we've achieved the daily goal. This is all I was looking for, price to head down to finish this market maker sell model. I think it can still head lower, but will it head lower today? I don't know. It is non-farm payroll Friday. And we kind of, I'm gonna actually jot this down so I can see. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this before I lose it, so I can have an example on NASDAQ. I need to record this right now, so I have it here. Friday 1/5/24. NFP Friday. Price created a 15-minute rejection block. Price traded exactly to it, then shorted. to the 4-hour BISI target at 16 through 34.25. I need to take another screenshot so I can have a higher time frame as well. 4-hour chart. So that is good. And I need the 15-minute chart as well. There we go. Need to take a screenshot of this too. So what am I doing here? I'm taking screenshots of different price action and I'm recording it in my journal so that I can have this for later. And I can remind myself, hey, here's exactly what happened during non-farm payroll Friday at the end of a market maker sell model week. And look at that. My goodness. There are some freaky opportunities here. So notice on the 1 minute chart how we came back up into this sell side imbalance and then we headed lower from there. Trade that as you will. I think we've pretty much, I think that while we could dig down lower into that 4-hour SIBI, I think that once it gets there, it's going to be a little bit goofy. You're going to see some consolidation there. Let me just jot this down real quick. I'll make some edits to that notes later. Okay. All right, good. Excellent. So that is non-farm payroll Friday. There might be some movement today. You will need to wait and watch for a very clear move above an hourly short-term high. So note here that we did not make it above, again, we did not make it above a short-term high. And so your eyes can still reach to the downside. Very, very much so can. I would go no further than this new week opening gap or maybe this old new week opening gap. Once you get down in this area, we're going to see some high resistance liquidity runs. This was the last low resistance liquidity run that I would expect. But there are liquidity pools below here and below here. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, it still looks pretty heavy to me. I wouldn't be surprised if it continues lower. I mean, the true original consolidation of this market maker sell model is here. And so if it were truly going to head lower, it would head lower below this and create a market structure shift lower. Again, like I don't think that we're gonna head much lower than that. But yeah. Bentahar, enjoy the rest of the day. I'm heading off. All right. Hope you have a great rest of the day and the weekend, Bentahar. Rest up well. Study the charts, study some theory. If you're studying, I don't know if you're an ICT trader, but definitely take a look at some of the theory and back test over the weekend. Take Saturday morning and just study charts and chart different time frames and start from the higher time frames. You'll get it. Okay. Any questions from people? Heading straight to ICT channel. Yeah. And Bentahar, feel free, like, I don't know if you're on Twitter, but, feel free to ping me on the YouTube comments or whatever. While I am an ICT trader, I know plenty of people that trade other stuff too. And the key thing here is if you can just focus on the higher time frames, your monthly, weekly, daily charts, and apply the inner circle trader concepts to those charts, you'll be in a far better state. You'll be in a much more prepared state for what's supposed to happen that week, what bias should happen that week. And then combine that with some of the theory on weekly profiles, and you'll have a better shot at understanding what might happen throughout the week. I'm not perfect either, Bentahar. I'm going to be studying as well, so you'll have partner in crime studying as well. I think ICT is releasing some charter content, but start with the 2022 model. That's the easiest one to understand, and then go into the 2016 content next. If you're going to study, and take a ton of notes, be ready to pause, watch episodes multiple times. Maybe be prepared for an hour episode to take 2 hours to watch because you're pausing and taking notes and really trying to comprehend it and back test on your charts. That's kind of key too. Okay. So we're seeing a bit of consolidation at this level. We don't need to have these here anymore. We've already taken these out, but we want to keep maybe this one here as it is a more recent low that occurred. Okay, so I don't need this one here anymore. Rejection block can stay there. That's fine. Let me look on the daily to see if there's anything that I'm missing on the daily. Okay, so after that, if we target that 4-hour BISI, then you're gonna head lower to target that low at 16,256 next. There's a volume imbalance at 16,329, 16,330 area, so it could target that next. Otherwise, it will head down into the bullish order block that is on December 6th. That would be my next target, and then obviously the short-term low below that. That would be a lot of movement for a week. I would be very surprised if we don't end up consolidating here, because we just took out, so that high of 16,329 is the daily. There's a buy side imbalance on the daily chart, right? So you can see it better here. This is the daily chart. There's a buy side imbalance here and a volume imbalance beneath that. So those are areas, if we do head lower, those are areas that I would expect. We've already traded through majority of this buy side imbalance here, right? So keep that in mind, that we've already traded to that level. So it doesn't have to go any lower, but it is, I think it likely, let's see how the real-time hour charts play out. If there's going to be a gap upwards, then maybe we see a real-time hour shift in market structure. I don't know, but let's see what happens here, because it needs a retrace in the coming week. It really desperately needs one. At the very least, up to the 16,750-ish level, 16,757-ish level. I think it needs a retrace there, but market could just dump too. Let's see, Bentahar, my Twitter account got hacked. Oh no. Couldn't get it back. Reached to support, and it's really bad after it got sold to Elon. Yeah. Sorry to hear that, brother. Hopefully you get that one back. If not, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Twitter's not like the best platform anyways, but I'm never going to pay $1 to Twitter. I will use it for free if they say that you can't tweet without paying, well, we always have YouTube. Or I can use, you know, a Telegram or Discord or something like that. There's so many other options here. So any questions from the gallery? Any questions for me here? I need to get set up for work, actually. I'm a little late, a little delinquent there. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna drop off to go make a little quick breakfast for myself as well. I need to log on. Gotta log on to the computer, work computer. And start my work day as well. So let's see. So today I only traded the accounts that are a little bit in drawdown. So one of them's pretty close back to maybe a couple hundred away from 50K. Another one's about 1,000 away. So, you know, that's, I don't think I'm going to trade again. It's Friday on a non-farm payroll week. But I will keep that in mind. How exactly what I was looking for is exactly what transpired in price. Price just moved a little too quickly for me to do anything with. All right, I'm gonna go off screen as I need to get ready for my meetings. But if any questions come up, you know, drop them in the chat. I will try to be here. Let me open this up as well. Go to the left screen monitor only. And at this point, trade NFP target and weekly draw liquidity hit at 16,324.25. May see lower, but it is Friday, so be careful at a large. Okay, here we go. All right, good luck, everybody. I will be back. I need to get some food and get prepped for my workday. So I'll be here throughout the day, though. So any questions that you have, drop them in. I will be right back, though.